Yo, what's good, Roast Squad fam? Welcome back in. Today, I'm the intern at a Roblox Animal Hospital. Cartoon animal patients, 10 steps of paperwork each, and one of these guys catches fire before we clock out. And this game gave me a sanity meter at a JOB. That's not a feature, fam. That's a warning label. Let's clock in. So I got a job at an animal hospital, and before anything else, I need to walk you through the intake process because it is 10 steps long. Step 1, wait for visitors. Step 2, take a photo of them. Step 3, register them in the PC. Step 4, get them a badge. Step 5, and this one is real, stamp the form. Step 6, follow the patient to their room. Then take a sample. Then analyze the sample. Then complete the analysis. Then process the results. And then on step 11, you may treat the patient. And do you want to know what treating the patient actually is? A screen on the wall tells you which item they need. Bandages, eye drops, in green text. You go and find it, you hand it over, and they leave. Sometimes there's a little mini game. One of them is a red heart on a monitor sitting at 61% with 2 skulls beside it. But mostly I fetch. I don't diagnose anything. The room diagnoses it. 10 steps of paperwork to become a vending machine with a name badge. This is a hospital for cartoon animals, and it has more paperwork than my actual doctor. There's also a meter in the corner of my screen tracking my sanity as a percentage, which is not a thing you normally get at a job. Eventually, the boss turns up. Dr. Harlow. He's an orange animal in a blue surgical mask and a lab coat. And he says, you must be the new hire. And then he gives me exactly one piece of advice. Some advice. If things get strange, just keep working. Keep working. Not here's the fire exit. Not here's who to call. Just keep working. Hold on to that because he's going to turn out to be right, and that is going to be the worst thing about him. Then my first shift ends and I get a report card. Patients treated, 2. Anomalies prevented, 0. Animal deaths, 0. Hospital performance, excellent. Excellent. $63. Remember that word. Shift 2 is when things get strange. There's a slime on the floor now. Nobody explains the slime. My job is to clean the slime. Something is blocking the shutters. It doesn't say what. One patient looks straight at me and says, I hear things. I see things. Great. Take a seat. Someone will be with you shortly. Then a patient walks up to introduce himself. His name is Duke Blue, and he is pink. And while he's talking, the game says, you discovered Headbanger. Discovered, like I had been looking for it. I have no idea what Headbanger was. Nobody explained it. It just went in the log, and I kept working. And here's my favorite thing in the entire building. On the security desk, there are 2 sticky notes. The first one says, use the cameras to detect anomalies. The second one says, they hate photos. They hate photos. That's step 2 of the intake process. I have been photographing every single patient who walks through that door as a formality, and it turns out that was the screening. Meanwhile, I put a sample in the DNA machine, and it thinks about it, and it returns a name and 1 finding. Bleeding. That's the DNA result. Bleeding. Thank you. I could see that. And the waiting room is getting annoyed with me the whole time. What's taking so long? Is this going to take long? I'm getting tired of waiting. Sir, I am doing genetics. One of them actually walks out saying, no service. What kind of place is this? And he says it standing directly in front of a shutter with the words out of service painted across it in red. The building agrees with you, mate. And then one of them leans over the front desk, Barney. And Barney says, can you give me a coffee? I had a long day. Barney, I have a sanity meter. You have a chair. Then a monster came. I want to be careful here because you need to understand I am not paraphrasing. This is the sentence the game printed on my screen, word for word. The monster takes your maple syrup and lets you go. Maple syrup. I paid a monster in maple syrup, and it logged it as a completed technique. It said, you completed maple trick. Maple trick. Like it's a move, like it's something they teach you. Somewhere in this building, there is a laminated sheet that says, in the event of a monster, offer breakfast. And that was the warm-up, because then this happened. Someone has started a ritual in room 1. Not a code blue, not a fire, a ritual. There's a timer counting down from 42 seconds that says death ritual room 1. The walls in there have gone red. There are candles across the floor. One of my patients is standing over an open flame, and the monitor on the wall is dripping the word error down itself. So with that alarm going, I go and make myself a coffee. And I want to defend that because the machine says coffee ready. And underneath, it tells you what coffee is for. Increase sanity. There's a poster right next to it with a mug and a brain on it that says, get your sanity up. Coffee in this hospital is a well-being product. It's the staff perk, +5 coffee. And the coffee is real, by the way. It does restore sanity exactly like the machine says. I drank it later. It worked. It also takes 136 seconds to brew, 2 minutes and 16 seconds. For a coffee in a building that is actively costing me sanity while I stand there waiting for it. That is just not what the game says it did in here. Then I went into room 1 and put the candles out by hand, one at a time, each one its own little interaction while the timer ran down. You cannot put out a death ritual in bulk. And here is the message the game printed 4 times. You extinguish the candle with coffee, which is a lie. You do not need the coffee. You can put those candles out with empty hands. It isn't required, it isn't consumed, it changes nothing. So the coffee in this hospital has a real job, and the game gave it a fake one. It's a sanity drink that got written into an incident report as firefighting equipment. The ritual in room 1 has been stopped. The lights come back on, the recovery bar fills up, the patient sits up in a head bandage, and he says, "I am forever in your debt." And for that, the game gave me a reward. It popped up in the corner, -1 job stress, -1 job stress. That's it. That's the compensation. And I know exactly what that's worth, because earlier when a patient walked up and told me his name, that gave me +1 job stress. So greeting a customer costs precisely as much as stopping a human sacrifice pays. So let's look at my record. Shift 2 report. Patients treated 3, 1 more than last time. Animal deaths 0 on a line of the form that comes pre-printed with a blood stain around it, which tells you something about how often that number isn't 0. Anomalies prevented 0. 0. I put out a death ritual with a beverage, and this hospital has recorded 0 anomalies prevented. Hospital performance. Good. Good. Last shift, I treated 2 patients, prevented nothing, and got excellent. This shift, I treated 3, stopped a ritual, and bribed a monster with syrup, and I got good. I got downgraded for doing more, $75, and a little card in the corner with my name on it. Best employee, Jzilla. And I need you to look at this one frame because it's all in there at once. The report saying good, the award with my name on it, the poster on the wall reminding me that if my sanity reaches 0, I die, and a patient off to the side of it screaming, "Ah, I'm on fire!" He is on fire while I am reading my performance review. Nobody told him about steps 1 through 9. I did put him out for the record. You take the fire extinguisher, you put out the flames. He said, "I need help," and then he said, "Phew." And then the next patient in the corridor asked me if I can speed it up a bit. So here's the job. In numbers, my sanity started at 82% and bottomed out at 44. That is the only number in this game that told me the truth. Total pay across 2 shifts, 5 patients, 1 death ritual, 1 monster, 1 slime, 1 fire, and 1 headbanger, whatever that was, $138. And my rank, after all of that, still intern. Dr. Harlow was right, by the way. Things got strange, and I just kept working. That's the horror, not the candles. So if you enjoyed watching me get downgraded for doing my job, leave a like. The coffee machine in that hospital says it increases sanity. Honestly, so would that. And subscribe, because I am still an intern. There is a shift 3, and somebody has to be standing there holding a hot drink when the next ritual starts. Anomalies prevented, 0. That's Row Squad. See you next shift.